to introduce the other members of the Veterans Commission. Peter Galgano's our secretary. Tom Yazansky. Where's Tom? Behind us over there. Okay. Unfortunately, Bruce Trevethan and Paul Ishii. Wait a minute. Paul's over. Where's Paul at? Somewhere. Okay. Yeah, behind the singers. All right. Bruce Trevethan had his knee replaced on Monday, so he won't be here. And Dean Revoir, Adam's brother, he tested positive on Wednesday, but he's fine. So, let's see. We have here, I see the town manager, Arosh. Where you at? Okay. Chief of Police, Matt McNally. Is Kate Wall here? Kate, there. Okay. Donna Veach, Charles Payanessa from the council. I saw Peter Rosso. There he is. Did I miss anybody? The mayor? No, we know the mayor. Everybody knows the mayor. And we have the commander from Post 68, American Legion, Vinny Trujillo. And unfortunately, the commander from the VFW is on vacation. So at this time, we're going to have our guest speaker, one of Berlin's own, Adam Revoir, corporal, rifleman, machine gunner in the United States Marine Infantry from 2009 to 2013. He was born to the parents of Raymond and Donna Revoir, raised in Kensington, enlisted in the Marine Corps delayed entry program the day of his 17th birthday with permission from his parents. 10 days after high school graduation, arrived at Parris Island, South Carolina, and completed recruit training. After boot camp, attended the School of Infantry at Camp Geiger, North Carolina. After graduation, was sent to the Marine Force at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and was assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines, as an infantry Marine. After a 9-month workup, he deployed on the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit, which brought the unit to several locations around the globe, ended up in getting called into the Helmand Province Afghanistan at the tail end of 2010 to conduct combat operations in the district of Sangin, Afghanistan. After that deployment, he returned back to North Carolina for a second workup, and after 7 months was sent back on a second combat deployment in 2012 to the district of Garmsir, Afghanistan, as a team leader. After returning from deployment, was honorably discharged after 4 years of service at the rank of corporal. He currently resides in Kensington, Connecticut with his fiancée Tessa and his dog Finnegan. He currently works in the HVAC industry. So without further ado, Corporal Adam Revoir.
Thanks, Charlie. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's ceremony. Kind of to reiterate just what Charlie said, my name's Adam Revoir, if you don't know me. I grew up here in Berlin, graduated in 2009, served 4 years in the United States Marine Corps. It's an honor to be able to speak to all of you today on this special occasion. 80 years ago this week, the eyes of America were focused on a small island in the South Pacific. Pearl Harbor had been bombed the year prior, and Japanese forces in the Pacific were capturing one island after another. The task of stopping them fell to a group of young Marines in an operation called Project Watchtower. The name of the place was Guadalcanal. The battle was expected to last 6 weeks, and it took 6 months. Fighting was so fierce and the rations so thin that the average Marine lost around 35 pounds. Every night shells fell from the sky and enemy soldiers charged up the hills, and the Marines repelled the enemy's assault with Springfield rifles left over from World War I and resolved the hand-to-hand fighting. An estimated 1,600 U.S. troops were killed and over 5,000 were wounded. Over 24,000 Japanese soldiers were killed. On that small island of Guadalcanal, Americans proved that our nation would be the greatest force for peace and freedom the world has ever known. Ever since the first shots rang out at Lexington and Concord, which started our Revolutionary War and our nation's path to independence, until the recent withdrawal from Afghanistan, our nation's longest war. Time and time again, the call to serve was answered, mostly by the youth of this nation, and from my personal experience, the greatest men I've ever known. Today we show our gratitude to the veterans of this country and to our town. These are the hidden heroes of a peaceful nation, our colleagues and friends, neighbors and family members who answered the call and returned to live in the land that they defended. Every veteran took an oath, a promise to defend America and everything that might threaten her. They raised their right hands and wrote a blank check payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including their lives. They left behind their mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sons and daughters, and brothers and sisters. Not for recognition or fame or even the honor we bestow upon them today. They fought to protect our country and maintain our way of life. Freedom is not free, and it never has been, and it never will be. It must be fought for, cherished, and protected, and preserved by each generation. Along our nation's history, countless men and women have given their lives, many their limbs, and some their sanity in the name of freedom and duty. I was 19 years old on my first tour to Afghanistan, and we lived in fighting holes that we dug by hand on the edge of a place called Hill 939, or as the Taliban would call it over the radio, Infidel Hill. There was no running water, no electricity, there's barely any supplies, there's no shelter from the elements, and the locals didn't like us much, and they expressed those feelings on many occasions. There wasn't much to do on that hill but go on patrol, stand post, clean our weapons, and wait. We lived out of the packs we carried on our backs, and what you carried in your pack was pretty much all you had to your name. You can only afford to pack the items that were absolutely necessary due to the lack of space and the stress of unnecessary weight. Now, those of you who know me personally probably won't believe me when I say this, but I carried a book in that pack, and no, it didn't have pictures. It was wrapped in about 3 Ziploc bags so it would survive the rain and the sand. And the book was titled With the Old Breed at Peleliu in Okinawa. One quote from that book has always resonated with me, and it was written by a hero of mine and countless other infantry Marines. Corporal Eugene Sledge, the author of the book, and a Marine Corps infantryman that fought in some of the bloodiest battles of the Pacific against the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. It's a simple passage, and it reads as follows. If the country is good enough to live in, it's good enough to fight for. With privilege goes responsibility. That quote helped me through some of the worst days of my life, and it still does to this day. It reminds me why my buddies and I were there, why we all signed up in the first place, and why countless Americans over the last 246 years have answered the call and stepped into the unknown. To the veterans of past, present, and future, I thank you and America thanks you. Thank you for the willingness to serve your country. You endured hardships and were willing to risk your life to maintain our freedoms here at home. Freedoms that need to be treasured, and the immense sacrifices to keep them cannot be forgotten. Today we thank our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and Marines across the globe, their families and loved ones, and our first responders who hold the line here at home. It's been an honor to speak to you all today. May God bless our veterans and God bless the United States of America. Semper Fi.
Thank you, Adam. Now, his brother, Dean, who was going to be the MC today, is also a combat infantry Marine veteran of the Iraqi campaign. He came home safe. Adam went twice to Afghanistan. As a parent, I can't even imagine that. So I want to introduce Donna and Ray Revoir.